Hey everybody, TRONZ here. Well, it's a beautiful Thursday. The sun's shining really bright. I've done all my errands for the day, and I thought, well, maybe it's now time to sit down and chew the fat and talk with you folks, So today I thought I'd tell you about some of the opportunities that I was blessed with in my lifetime. When I moved to Southern California back in about 1976, things started to look up. I mean, hell, I had me a nice good job managing for a record chain store called Licorice Pizza Records and Tapes. And I was doing okay financially, had a band, JC Storyteller, then it became the Assassin of Silence, and then Jim Curnutte. And during that period of time, I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of interesting, famous people. And I want to tell you a little story about one of the famous people that I ran into. Okay. Well, it was Christmas Eve, and I hadn't bought my girlfriend Jane a Christmas present yet, so I thought, well, I think I'll get her a camera because she's always interested in stuff, and we're meeting some interesting peoples. And I thought, well, she'd probably want to maybe, mark those scenes with some photographs, hell, you meet somebody famous, if you get your camera handy, take a couple of pictures. Nowadays, everybody uses their cell phones, their iPads and stuff like that to take their selfies with somebody famous. And I think that's pretty damn cool because, not all the time do you get to brush up against somebody that's as worldly famous or just locally famous or maybe just famous in the state or country that you live in. Well, my favorite one was this one. I went around the corner, like I said, to get her a camera. There was a place called Schaefer's Camera Shop. So I went around the corner and I walked in. I'd been in there before several times because, we'd done a few things where we needed some photos developed and shit like that. So I go in there and I walked up this one guy that used to hang out back because, see, their back door was right up against my backyard. So they'd hang out there and they'd be having a cigarette break. And sometimes I'd go out and talk to them and shoot shit about all kinds of interesting subject matters. So I go in there and I walk up and I said, hey, I'm interested in buying a camera today. I'd like to get, as much stuff as I can, like camera, a bunch of lenses, maybe maybe a speed drive, those kind of things, flash, whole bit. Well, it's kind of drizzling a little rain outside, and as I was standing there talking to him, behind him was a big glass display area, and then down below was another glass display area. Back here were cabinets, and then down here was a display area. He was saying, well, let's look at some of these. And so he put a couple of used cameras up on the counter because they had some really gorgeous used cameras. And then all of a sudden he says, hey man, don't look around yet, but somebody famous is coming up next to you. And I looked in the glass pane behind him, which operates kind of like a mirror, and I thought, hell's bells, damn man. But I didn't say that, my whole body's starting to shake, I'm starting to quiver. And all of a sudden, I look over the side of me, and this guy lays down a box, see? And inside the box is a speed drive and a bunch of lenses and a flash and a camera. And he goes, in his English accent, he says, I want to trade this in, give me a store credit because I'm going to go to the back and buy some stuff. And then he walked off, and I went, oh my God, that's Ringo Starr. Oh, damn, man. And so he goes walking off the back. He's got this like little black patent leather type plastic raincoat of some sort, and Barbara Box with him, and she's wearing a red one. And so they go walking on by, and I looked down and I said, he goes, why don't you take this? Everything's here, everything you want. And I went, hell yeah, man. How much you want for it? He goes, $600. How's that? And I go, well, let's do that. So Ringo comes walking back into the store, and he comes over and he says, sees me playing with the camera, see? Here it is, right here. This is the exact camera. It's a Pentax, and it's an MX, and I'm holding it, and doing some things with it, running this little that and this little that and all that, and checking it out. And he says, I said, by any chance I seen any pictures from this camera, taken from this camera? And he says, yeah, probably so. I thought, yeah. He says, oh, okay. So he says, and he looked at the guy behind the counter and he says, everything okay? He says, yeah. He says, I put all your information over there at the checkout. So as soon as Ringo walks off, I go like this, because there was we put some film in it, and I went, bonk, clicked a couple of photographs. I want to show them to you. Here comes one of them right there. See, there's Ringo right there. That's Ringo. And that was at Schaefer's Camera Shop. See how the displays are up there? Well, I was standing right over her, you know, and there's displays along the wall over there, okay? So there's Ringo right there. Okay. So I walk over to the checkout counter and pay for everything, because getting almost closing time. And just so happens, he and Barbara Bach were just a little bit to my left at the checkout counter getting ready to, the lady was doing some stuff, and there was two ladies there, and one lady was getting ready, and she goes, she says, and your stuff? I said, yeah, that's my stuff right there in that box. And the receipt and everything was already written up and all they had to do. And so I stood there for a second, and then Ringo turns around and he goes, oh, so you're buying it. You're buying everything. And I went, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, it's pretty daggone, I got a damn good deal on that, Ringo. And he says, well, that's good. And I kind of shook like this a little bit, because, man, I'm so damn nervous I can't handle it, man. I'm about ready to lose it, man. Not only have I met Ringo Starr, meeting Ringo Starr and talking to Ringo Starr, but I'm also buying his camera equipment. So what comes next? I kind of like real politely said, it's Christmas, you know, Ringo, and I mean, I know if you're busy, it's okay. And I just was, and he interrupted me and he goes, you want an autograph? I said, sure, if you don't mind. He says, yeah, okay. So he grabs a little piece of paper and a pen. He starts signing the autograph. He says, who do I make this out to? I go make it out to Jim. He starts writing and he goes, to Jim. And I go, well, you might want to put Aunt Jane on there, or else I'll get myself killed, because that's who I'm buying the camera for. And Barbara Bach says, yeah, Ringo, you ought to make sure you put Jane's name down there so old Jim don't get killed. So Ringo did. And he signed it and he handed it to me. And I was like, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. It's Merry Christmas to you. So I had everything in a big bag and I walked out, you know. I went around the corner, and as I walked in the front door, I was trying to be cool as I could be, you know. I put all the stuff in the car, go walking in the door, and Jane and her friend was there, and I said, she goes, where you been? I go around the corner at Schaefer's Camera Shop, checking things out. You wouldn't know, guess who's in there? She goes, who? I go, Ringo Starr. She goes, Ringo! And her and her girlfriend went shooting out of the building and up this little walkway up to the Schaefer's Camera Shop in the middle of the rain, go see if they could still see Ringo, but I guess he'd already left. But here's the best part about it. It says right here, look at that, right there in the frame. It says, to Jim and Jane, love Ringo Starr, big star and 3 X's. Now that, I've been told, is the supreme Ringo autograph by some autograph collectors. And I know some people wanted to buy that autograph off of me for some large amounts of money. Large amounts of money. I'm not talking $1,000. I'm not talking $10,000. I'm talking more than that, because you know Ringo don't sign autographs. Well, let's get on with the story. About a month goes by, and then out of the clear daggone blue sky, Jane and I are down at the Troubadour watching a concert. I think we were watching Peter Gabriel or something like that. And next thing I know, here comes Ringo standing out front, and he's looking a little under the weather, and he's leaning back up against the building. Actually, he was a little intoxicated, and a bunch of people were walking up to him, and he was like brushing them away, you know, like I did that fly thing. No, don't go. So I decided to stroll down the walkway there, and I kind of got out near him, and some guy came up, and I go, nah, now's not a good time. Ringo's not feeling too good tonight. Then I started getting people, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, no, not tonight. It's all right. Maybe some other time. And then the cab comes up to pick me and Jane up. And the cab, has the window rolled down, and he yells out, cab for Jim and Jane. And I turned around and looked at Ringo, and I said, Ringo, you need to get the hell out of here. And he goes, yeah. I said, you can take our cab, buddy. So he walked over. I opened up the cab door for him and looked into the cabbie, and I said, will you dispatch another cab for Jim and Jane? About that time, Ringo rolled down that back window of the cab and looked out that window, and he says, how's the camera? And I said, yeah, it's doing pretty good. Jane just looked at, and as soon as the cab drives away, what do you think she does? She screams out, Ringo! No, I'm telling you, straight up, man, may the sun fry my heart onto the dirt right now. That's a damn true story. That's a damn true story. And this camera here, Jane later gave that camera back to me when she ran off. This camera is taking photographs of famous people. Took photographs of Peter Hamill. Took photographs of Adam Mitchell, the Paupers. Took photographs of Don Van Fleet, Captain Beefheart. Took photographs of my friend Alice DeBure of Fanny. It took a lot of the album cover photographs too for Assassin of Silence and Jim Curnutte. We used this camera to take those pictures. And I was trying to think who, oh yeah, David Allen of Gong. And there is several, Giorgio Gomeleski had his picture taken with it. Dave Brock of Hawkwind, Robert Calver of Hawkwind, Simon King of Hawkwind, Adam Shaw, the bass player for Hawkwind at that time. Yes, indeed. You know, those are great memories, and I certainly have enjoyed this one very much so. You know, to be blessed enough to meet famous people. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that little story today. And this is Old TRONZ. I'm gonna sign off here because I try to keep these vlogs, you know, under a certain time, because, you know, if it get too long, people get bored and they don't want to watch everything. So let's just sign this thing out today. Peace, love, whatever else you want to do. Hey everybody, this is TRONZ here. Over and out.